Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording session of Hearthstone. Questions. I've got some questions. So, Tavern Brawl will be back in one day. We've got this lined up and I needed to win 5 Tavern Brawls to get to 60 gold. Well, I guess I have to trade that out, don't. So now Paladin definitely needs some victory, and Druid or Hunter needs some victories. That fixes it. Notice we've opened the 5 packs. I've made that video. I haven't put it quite out yet. I'm trying to upload another series, and then I was going to put it out at the end instead of it just being in the middle. Another fine yet stupid. I wanted to check the card back here, make sure we're on the newest one. So Paladin, let's try, I guess, standard for a moment on ranked. We're still trying to get up to ranked 1. Yep, the 5 card pack opening video is another dumb video, joke video. I'm using joke in the definition of if you do something stupid with no real logical explanation for it, it's quote unquote a joke.
I will fight with
it's
honor.
just a prank, bro, as you're about to get assaulted or arrested type things. It is a dumb idea. Trying to catch people that would type just 5 and miss the 0 for 50 card pack opening videos. It's dumb, but since we're playing on percentages, it's probably gonna work.
The light
too,
protects me.
a little bit, and any little bit helps on my channel right now. Income on my channel, talking about working on percentages, is going wild. I don't know what it is. Is it maybe that I get like $2.50 every time one person clicks on an ad on my best video? Is it that I've just been uprated as a advertiser so they pay a little bit more? I don't, you'd think I would know how these things work, but I don't. Is it that maybe just now on specific days I get suggested, if one person watches my video, it suggests it to 10 other people, and those 10 other people see it too. If that was the case, then we would be in rather nice shape, because
Well met.
if it really was down to a level that only one person has to randomly watch my thing, so like one of my 76 subscribers has to just watch one video that day, one day, and then that triggers, oh, here's a video that from a guy who's made some popular videos before, therefore will suggest it back to more people. That would be great. That would only mean I would need a subscriber. I always want more subscribers, but I
don't have
only
enough mana.
need one to. Let's see. If I do this, can I do anything else? Double minions attack.
Let me think.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Yep, I can't do anything. This is bad. In fact, this deck is bad. I need to play on Wild if I'm gonna play Paladin. Hopefully my Paladin deck in Wild is a little bit better. It would be as if instead of a smooth increase of income and views, and I still am very focused on views more than income because income's too low to really be too interested in that. Although income would be nice since we are very, very close towards the Steam summer sale. this.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for
Nothing
duty.
scares me.
This.
Except mice.
And then end the turn. So yeah, if my growth on my channel is going to be less smooth, which it never really has been smooth. I wish it was smooth. I wish every day I gained 1 subscriber and 1 view. Just it went up one by one by one. But it's never been like that. It's always been Whispered Over the Old Gods announcement video comes out. That gets 500 to 1,000 views, way more than any of my other series. So then that gets me 5 subscribers for those 500 views. And that increases the likelihood that other videos are getting suggested. Not by a great amount. The sad point here, I think, worse than anything else, is I just don't think I particularly am doing anything wrong. I really don't. Made a slight mistake, I guess. It's not even like I could have avoided it, but I'm putting up Lego The Hobbit. All the music in Lego The Hobbit is not handled by WB for some reason. I have no idea. Yeah, it's just like it's being handled by InGrooves on behalf of Watchtower, which seems ridiculous. It's still completely stupid and completely ridiculous that somebody can say, well, on behalf of this other company that we have really no affiliation for, we're gonna take your money for your entire video. I mean, that's really what it is. There's no authorization process there, as far as I know. I could, if I had access, if they were dumb enough to let me have access to it, I could go say, well, on behalf of Sony Music, I'm going to content ID all things that have any amount of Sony Music or anything that sounds like Sony Music, take all that money and just keep it for myself. It's a ridiculous thing. It's fraud. It's downright fraud.
Ready for action.
And yet it's allowed by YouTube. And it's all fraud because it's still fair use. You claim fair use, and InGrooves immediately the next day goes, no, we don't agree. Our fraud is not fraud. So even though they know it is, they just click the button. They just hire somebody in some country for pennies a day to do it. Yeah. They really cheap to probably don't even speak or read English. They just tell them, click this button every time you see it. Doesn't matter what it says, you're just here to click the button. Or they have a computer do it, if they can get a computer to do it, which is against YouTube's rules. Anyways. So I'm now having to experiment on what times can I dispute these and see if maybe I can get at the bottom of their emails and they'll miss it. Which is, sadly, it actually works. It works for WB Music. If you dispute something around 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening on a weekday, it'll just be at the bottom of their emails, and they won't bother ever doing it. And I'm thankful for that, because that means a lot of Lego The Lord of the Rings doesn't have to be completely mutilated. But because now it's a new company, because they did reaffirm it, a lot of the first videos are just gonna have audios removed, or on some rare occasions even that doesn't work. I still have some Lego Batman 2 videos where the money is going straight. Oh good, Murlocs. We can probably make some progress with Murlocs. Do I want to keep this? No. So yeah, some Lego the Batman ones. Just I couldn't remove the audio because the YouTube system's so bad. So I didn't remove the audio, and the money's now going there. So my hard work now 100% goes to somebody who's willing to lie and not play fair. And it sucks so bad. Furthermore, there's some stuff still with, even though YouTube has tried to fix this, with the whole where the fair use stuff, which still really isn't fixed and still needs to be pushed a lot harder, and people have just moved on to other YouTube drama. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There is YouTube drama. It's ridiculous. People can't focus on more important things, but for more than a week. But whatever. They can still completely block your videos forever, stopping you from getting, well, not forever, for 30 days, and then you dispute it, and if they reaffirm it, then you would have to say sue me, and frankly, bringing things straight to litigation with Google not being involved at all is ridiculous. So they could certainly block your video, then it would never be viewed, therefore no views, therefore no monetization. They can still completely deny monetization on a Content ID claim. So if they're willing to say, we'll just screw you over for some reason, not many people do it. It's only done, I would say, maybe a fourth of the time or less that people would bother to say just disable monetization instead. But if they do say disable monetization, the whole YouTube holding on to the money and giving it to whoever wins still doesn't really work. I don't know. I have never gotten that far in the process. I don't know if you dispute the dispute or the reaffirmation of the dispute, if the money at that point isn't handed to them. So it could very well be that the companies still can just reaffirm the dispute, get all the money for that time period. So wait almost 30 days, then reaffirm the dispute, get that 30 days of initial income, and then if you dispute at that point and it goes to the lawsuit, I don't know if you get any of that money. So you may have to have 2 lawsuits going on at that point, where you would have to sue them for damages for the first 30 days and sue them and see if they're gonna sue you for copyright infringement. That may be the case. It may very well not be the case. I don't know. None of that helps with DMCA and never will. Whereas the fair use movement should really focus on hiring lawyers and lobbying politicians to change, to strengthen fair use everywhere and get rid of, make some changes to the DMCA.
For justice.
Job done.
But moving on for that, Allison Road got canceled, which kind of sucks. I mean, this game that was inspired to be like PT, and they tried to kickstart it, and then the Worms company, because the Kickstarter wasn't going to succeed, came in and said they would fund it, and now it's canceled. There was a decent looking video of a decent looking demo there, so it's not just a complete person that had no ability to make a game. But also I could argue either one of those. PT was a demo. It only works as a demo. whatever Silent Hills was going to be was not going to be like
There is little time.
it was really just showing a small concept. Layers of Fear is a good example of a game that where you could make something almost like it, and Layers of Fear was still not like a thing everybody ran out and got. A lot of YouTubers got it for reaction games, and that's it. Deal 2 done all non-Murloc characters. Well, I can't play that, so. Oops.
But of course. For justice.
Job done.
So, it kind of sucks that Allison Road
Your
is
opponent
cancelled. Alright, there's one victory. Of course, we're at rank 23 here. Our goal is to get up to rank 18 this month. I'm not sure we're gonna really make it. It probably means we're gonna play ranked the whole time. Abduction got announced, and Abduction being announced, it was like delayed a year. Abduction is, of course, the newest game from Cyan World. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually
asked
make
for
any
it.
good games,
I will
since they
fight
really
with
haven't
honor.
done anything since the last Myst game, which was probably like 6 or 7 years ago, if I was just to randomly guess a number. So it's priced at $30, which already strikes me as it's going to be a shorter experience than Myst, which is quite an incredibly long experience. Very well may have no puzzles in it at all. It may just be a more walking simulator style game. We have seen in the demos like no gameplay or anything. Should I play the coin to bring out somebody? I don't think I should, because he could just kill it regardless, so I might as well. If he's gonna kill something and waste his turn, it might be this 1/1. But the date that was announced is actually right in line with like when my next series would start. So I was gonna try and play Myst 1 or Real Myst. I guess to be more accurate, Real Myst would probably be the right choice to make there. Yeah. Well, what I was gonna do is I was gonna show off Myst, the main game, and do like one little spotlight of that, and then move on to Real Myst, because there's no real reason to play both of those games. If you have Real Myst, you should play Real Myst. It's just that simple. I don't know if they could get away with it, but there is a even decent argument to them remaking Myst. I saw a video on like the creator of Half-Life 2, the guy that runs Valve. I forget his name now. Gabriel. Yeah, there. How can I forget his name? But talking for like years and years about Half-Life 3 because everybody brings it up, and he's just like, I've got nothing to say, I've got nothing to say, and that's like, and as somebody who really hasn't even played the Half-Life games, and I was looking at like footage on it of Half-Life 1, I'm like, man, that doesn't really look that good. But it came out right after Doom and Quake, so we just got a very successful reboot of Doom. If there was actual talk of Quake, which there might be, and I've just not heard it,
They'll never
getting a
know
remake,
what
I guess it would be in line that maybe then you make a remake of Half-Life 1. I think it's been long enough. It's been like probably over 10 years. It's been long enough to say, look, we've just got to start over this time. We've just got to make that remake and have some more people, because there's obviously an entire generation of people who didn't play Half-Life 1, didn't play Half-Life 2, and cares not one bit about Half-Life 3. The Minecraft kids that are 4 or 5 right now don't care about any of that. They wouldn't be the target audience for a first-person shooter anyways, but there's something to be said there. So if they really were going to ever make that game, number 3, I think they have to start over. I think they have to give it polishing. Personally, for my own purposes, I would want them to come out with remakes, because it doesn't look like it would be a fun experience in 2016 for the first time in your life to play Half-Life 1. Even though I have the full complete Valve collection and I could go do all of those, it's like none of them look that good. Portal 2 are the only ones that are new enough to even appear like they're interesting. Team Fortress 2, I suppose, has been updated enough that it looks good. If they put out a Team Fortress 3, that would make sense too. I think you could probably get away from the Half-Life 3 garbage too if you tried and just... There we go, I'm gonna win, I think. If you remade Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, every other thing, Counter-Strike, every side thing, if you just remade those in your most recent engine, have them work with the Vive for whatever reason, and then at the end, here's an addendum for a 2-hour game of Half-Life 3. I think you might be able to get away with that. If you just threw everything in there, every single thing in it that you could, then you could say, here's the addendum to Half-Life 3. This finishes the story. This wraps everything up. Half-Life 2 Episode 3 is in there. Half-Life 3 is in there. It's just like, get it all into that.
I will fight with honor.
So, I think that would be the only way you could even just get away from it. And then Valve should literally just make new games. From my perspective, the game that was their best game, the most interesting game, is Portal, which was a fresh idea from a fresh team of programmers who had just graduated, and they were hired out of graduation. It's just, so if they moved away to new games, that'd be fun. I guess they could do that without doing Half-Life 3 too. They could just say, here's our newest game, and that's it. The question is, every time they do that, it gets a little bit more iffy. That's what Portal was. It's like, we've got this new game, and they weren't very confident about it. That's why it was sold in the orange box with 2 other games, just all together. Or work on Steam. Too, that's a big deal. If they just worked on Steam and made it work better. That would be nice too.
Job done.
So yeah, Vivendi, who bought, I think, Atari at its highest value, and then sold it like millions and millions of dollars less, and lost their shirt, is trying to do a hostile takeover of Ubisoft, and they've taken the first step by buying another company that had a lot of stocks in uh, in in Ubisoft. Yeah. So it's a little bit complicated. Ubisoft tried to get the Canadian government, British Columbian government, I think that Providence's government in particular, to give them money to help fight it off, and they didn't. They said no, we're not interested, which is probably the right choice. It's a weird point. It's like, we know from my perspective, Ubisoft is problematic as a company is the best we could say. The worst we could say is Ubisoft is
The
garbage.
light
They
protects me.
will force you into Uplay. They will sell you broken games like
Ready
Assassin's
for
Creed
action!
Syndicate, I believe was the name of it. They will just use licenses to make money, and they won't do any innovation. So they're pretty terrible as a company. Now, sadly, most video game companies are pretty terrible as a company. WB is terrible, we know, and I've never felt it even more since playing Lego The Hobbit, and it's just like they forced a completely unfinished game out, full of bugs. There's no denying it, and no fixing it. Lego The Hobbit has none of the content from the Battle of the Five Armies movie, which isn't from the book, but even at that, they didn't wrap up the story correctly. If that was the case, they wanted to do the Battle of the Five Armies DLC, and then they just canceled it. But they sold plenty of other DLC info on this game. The game's so buggy, I just realized that there was a character that was supposed to unlock after we played a level. It never unlocked. It's a major character that you can't do half of the free open world with. I don't have it. I'm gonna have to go play the level again anyways, so hopefully it will unlock in free play mode. Otherwise I'm just gonna have to play it off screen in story mode. So that's ridiculous. And that's not even the first bug I've had in Lego The Hobbit. There's a whole nother section where you couldn't just target a target with a slingshot, even though it was right there on screen. You just couldn't do it, and you could not activate that puzzle. So Lego games are all about doing 100%. I've never had a Lego game where you literally couldn't do 100% because of bugs. But there's so much bugs going on. I don't think I'm gonna win this one. So I think that's partially TT Games' fault that they didn't say no, we're not putting it out. But I think TT Games is actually probably heavily owned by WB Games. There's so many WB properties there. WB also put out Arkham Knight, which is totally broken. WB is about to do a Batman Telltale game. Now we know Telltale Games is not owned by WB, so that might have a better chance, but just WB's general involvement in it is terrible. EA is garbage. Let's not leave out EA. Plenty of other ones are garbage here. We're gonna 5, 8. I could kill this guy or this guy. If I kill this guy, that's the best move, but I'm still gonna lose. So, like, 3 or 4 of the major video game creators are bad. Nintendo's pretty bad too, but what Nintendo does, at the very least, is not super offensive. They put out mostly good games. Like, I can't think of anything in recent history in which there was a bad Nintendo game released. I think they need to have a new console come out because this new Pokemon, the graphics on it don't look good. just like I don't think the 3DS graphics are up to snuff by today's standards. Uh, they don't even look good compared to what you could play on an iPhone or a Android phone. Just a lack of polygons in it. Maybe that's just the Pokemon being square and blocky, but I don't think so. So they need to fix that, definitely, but it's not like they do garbage work. I mean, they even do some nice things every now and then. They funded the
Victory or death!
what was it?
I will fight with honor.
I forget the name of it. Sequel to that game I really like. Oh, that's a good victory. The Platinum games with the witch that had hair around her. I wish somebody was actually talking to me so they could remind me about what that one was called. Anyways, they funded that game, if you know what I'm talking about. The only thing Nintendo does that's bad is they take forever. They delay things. We're still waiting for Zelda. They put things in the back burner. They do the whole Disney Vault garbage, it seems like, with their games at this point. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just they want to get things done right. They're quickly becoming like Valve, where where's the next Metroid Prime game? It's never gonna happen. Yeah, that Metroid game that they most recently came out was pretty bad. But overall, Nintendo's worst thing they do is the YouTube Content ID system, which is just ridiculous. But so I'd much rather have a bunch of Nintendos running around. Sega's a pretty bad company for only the fact that they turn out garbage games for kids. They're just not delivering quality, but it's usually not super buggy, and it's usually not something to get upset with. I suppose the reason why people hate Ubisoft and yeah, I'll leave Konami out of the list completely because it doesn't matter. They don't make video games anymore. Why hound on them? But I suppose the only reason why we don't like Ubisoft and EA and some of these other companies is simply because they have the big properties that should be treated well, and that may be the case of it, is that Nintendo has the big property and shows reverence to it, where most other companies are just about the money. There's too much just corporate greed going on there, and if they just held back a little bit and kept the fans happy, that'd be good. Much like the movie industry too, as like, do we need every single movie to be the top of the line graphics, or can you just hold back and say this movie is as good as the movie you saw 2 years ago with a new story? And honestly, I think the problem is, since they don't have any good stories to tell, they do have to blow their budget on millions of dollars of effects. Much like a remake of Half-Life 1 would be like, when they would change the story, they would just update the graphics. Or Real Mist is the same way. Real Mist is in the real engine, it's just a better engine and better graphics. That's the exact same story, because they couldn't really think of any better story. I don't know if I finished my thought on Abductions. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play Myst in time. I'll have to see if I can really schedule it and get it done. Yeah, I'm gonna kill this one first. This.
Reporting for duty.
If we get a little lucky here, I may make it to all 5 victories in 45 minutes. So I looked at the most recent Humble Bundles and there was nothing new interesting there, which is good because I would much prefer to save up for the Steam sales. I don't know if any of this is going to turn around and really help. Oops! Should have attacked with that first. That was a mistake. The problem with the most recent Humble Bundle is it has 2 games that I already have and 4 games that I've not really considered playing at all. So, or they're on my wish list, but they're not top of my mind type of thing. I just finished airing all of Hearthstone, and that's a little bit of a disappointment. It did get any views, like all my shows. Let's do 3
For justice.
Job done.
So yeah, a little disappointing that no views there. I thought that would catch more people's attention or be interesting. The problem with my channel is simply there's just nothing driving people to see the new content. When I look at my highest thing, I'm changing topics now, I guess. When I look at my highest rated videos, it's not something where people are going to come back and watch my videos over and over again. It's not like the subscribers are getting suggested things, obviously, or they're not coming back and watching them, or they are coming back and watching them, but it's adding only 2 or 3 views to videos. Still, on average, every video gets only 2 or 3 views, and I don't know if those 2 or 3 views are me or somebody else, because I watch my own videos, check the quality, try to do the best I can. I have lowered the audio on a lot of my recordings recently, so in the next few months I may get a lot of videos where people are saying the audio's too low, the audio's too low, and maybe I should just leave it too low. If that's the only thing that's going to get people to comment is the audio's too low, or the video sucks. I mean, if all I can do is squalor in the mud of making bad content,
I will fight with honor.
as I'm trying to make this a business, as it is part of the goal here, unfortunately I'm not a billionaire. I can't just never work another day in my life and never earn a dollar. So I can't say I'll just make art for art's sake and it doesn't matter to me one bit if nobody appreciates it or ever sees it. Although that is kind of what I started this channel on. It's like I'm just making a backup and I don't care. Things have evolved a little bit there. I do need this to be a business at some point in the future. It would be very helpful, and every day I am unable to go work in a regular job somewhere is a day further and another nail in the coffin of ever going back to working in the real world for somebody else, because there's this impending question. It's like, what were you doing for those 3 years? And I can say, well, I was running my own business and I was making video game criticisms, and here's all these videos, and that they would probably, well, a significant number of those people would probably just laugh at me or think I'm crazy. Maybe I am, but there's a lot of easy ways to discount this career if you want to. It's pretty easy. But I don't know what the driving factor can really be. Hearthstone is about it. Somebody a fire juggling magician slash comedian that I listen to in one of his podcasts, Night Attack. This guy named Brian Brushwood. He's all right. Sometimes a little weird. I mean, I could go into my deeper personality of things. He's ambitious and forgetful at the same time, which sometimes is a deadly combination. So he'll propose a lot of things and do a lot of initial setup and then forget about it and move on to the next thing. But he's had some moderate success. Anyways, he's at one point hired OMG Chad of Minecraft, OMG Minecraft fame, and had him working for him as an assistant somewhat, and I feels like that relationship has somewhat split apart, although they probably say they're still friends. So I followed OMG Chad, I think. Maybe I followed him? I know I tweeted him once, suggesting him he'd make a certain YouTube video, and he never responded, but I bet he gets a billion tweets, so it's not like a big deal to me. But that's the best I can figure, is I followed OMG Chad, and then Brian Brushwood followed me, which is really strange because I've never followed Brian Brushwood on Twitter. And frankly, I did follow him back, but I'm probably going to unfollow him because he's not talking about video games, and all I want to do is, as I build up my Twitter, is follow people who talk about video games. This guy's gonna do 1 damage to everybody, so if I do this and this guy'll be safe. And then if I do this and then this, smash the face. Nice, right way to play there. So that's a little surprising. He followed me. Now it's not super cool or anything though, because I looked at the number of people he's following. He's following nearly as many people as who are following him. So he obviously has somebody working for him, or he has an app or something that just randomly seeks people that are somewhat related to him and follows. It's like everybody that's suggested to him. I don't know if he just sits there and goes, suggested, follow. I'm sure he doesn't look at his news feed at all. He probably has a separate filtered feed. So I'll probably mute him too. It's just like, he hasn't tweeted a lot lately though, so I guess that doesn't really bother me. I was already watching as much of the content he created as I was interested in, and I'm barely interested even at that for what he makes. This comedy podcast is with another guy, and it's up and down. Some weeks it's funny, some weeks it's just the two of them trying to be funny. And it's always dirty, and it's not appropriate for kids, I guess. I should say that. Not that I particularly try to keep this. I don't particularly try to keep Hearthstone series like super kid friendly. I've even possibly slipped a little bit on doing the Lego games and making it super kid friendly, because sometimes I'll talk about topics that kids probably shouldn't be thinking about or be worried about. Like when I'm talking about Lego The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and saying, gee, there's really no females in the story, is there? Because there really isn't. There are a couple. That was one conversation. It's like, yes, there's Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings, and she is like the head elf, but then there are no other females, so that means it's like a queen bee situation where
To battle!
She's either killing all the baby girls that would be competition, or they only have one female for every 100 male elves, and it's like, yeah, that's weird. That's weird to write your book that way. But it's been a little rambly. Certainly not as ADD as it was before. It's like, that was a really bad one. Open that chest at 20. So you don't even get a chest if you don't get up to rank 20, do you? That sucks. Well, what may also suck is we are going to be done with this recording as soon as that pop-up. I wish that pop-up wasn't right where that back button was. We need now 2 victories in the next recording between Druid and Hunter, so we'll just play a little bit of ranked of that. Still not a lot to go on, still waiting for E3. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. So all of that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.